What appears to be an ordinary little egg is about to reveal one of nature's most fascinating moments. At first glance, there is nothing unusual about it. A small, pale egg rests gently in a person's hand. Its smooth shell is marked with a few tiny spots and imperfections, but from the outside, there is no obvious sign of the life developing within. For a long time, an egg can remain completely silent and still. But inside that protective shell, an incredible process has been taking place. The shell serves as a protective barrier, keeping the developing bird safe while it grows. To us, the egg may look motionless. But eventually, the time comes when the life inside must leave its tiny shelter and begin a completely new stage. And this is where the real story begins. As we look more closely, small marks and damaged areas can be seen on the shell. The egg is still mostly intact, but something is changing. The shell that once protected the developing chick is now becoming the barrier it must overcome. Hatching is not an instant process. A newly developing bird does not simply break the shell in one moment and step outside. Instead, the shell gradually gives way as the chick works to make an opening. Every small movement matters. The cracks slowly become more noticeable. What was once a smooth, unbroken surface is now beginning to separate. There is something remarkable about watching this happen because the entire transformation is taking place on such a tiny scale. Inside this small egg is a living creature preparing to experience the outside world for the very first time. As the process continues, the opening in the shell becomes larger. The shell begins to look weaker, and more of it starts to break away. The person holding the egg carefully keeps it in view, allowing us to watch this delicate moment from very close range. And then, the first clear glimpse of the hatchling appears. A tiny part of the chick becomes visible through the broken shell. At this point, the contrast is incredible. Just moments earlier, we could see only a small white egg. Now, we can see the fragile new life hidden inside it. The chick is extremely small, and its body looks delicate compared with the hard shell that surrounded it. The opening continues to expand. Piece by piece, the shell separates, revealing more of the hatchling. This is one of the most fascinating parts of the process. The egg is no longer simply an egg. It has become the doorway between two completely different stages of life. The chick slowly emerges from the shell, exposing its tiny body to the outside environment. There is no dramatic rush. Instead, the moment unfolds gradually, allowing us to see just how delicate a newly hatched bird can appear. More of the shell breaks away, and the chick becomes increasingly visible. Its tiny body moves as it emerges, while pieces of the shell remain around it. The transformation is now unmistakable. A living creature that was completely hidden from view is finally being revealed. The shell that protected it throughout its development is now broken into pieces around its body. And as more of the shell opens, we get an even clearer look at the newly hatched chick. It is difficult to believe that such a small creature was completely hidden inside that little egg. The entire process reminds us how much can happen inside something that looks so simple from the outside. For most of the video, all we could see was a small white shell. But behind that shell was a developing life, waiting for the moment when it could finally emerge. Now, the chick is almost completely outside. The remaining pieces of shell separate further, revealing its tiny body and head. At this stage, the hatchling looks incredibly fragile. It has only just crossed the boundary between the protected environment inside the egg and the outside world. Everything around it is new. The sounds, the light, the air, and the space around it are completely different from the enclosed world it occupied before hatching. And this is what makes the moment so remarkable. A tiny egg has transformed into a living hatchling right before our eyes. The final pieces of shell move away, and the chick is now clearly visible. What began as a small, closed egg has become the beginning of a new life. Nature often works in ways that are easy to overlook. We see eggs, nests, birds, and animals every day, but moments like this give us a rare close-up look at the beginning of that journey. There is something incredibly powerful about seeing a creature emerge from a shell that once completely surrounded it. The process may look simple, but it represents a major transition. The egg has served its purpose. The shell has protected the developing chick, and now the chick has finally emerged. For the hatchling, this is only the beginning. There will be many more stages of development ahead, but this tiny moment marks the first visible step into the world. From a quiet little egg sitting in the palm of a hand, to a fragile hatchling emerging from its broken shell, we have just witnessed one of nature's most fascinating transformations. It is a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary stories begin in the smallest places. A silent shell can hold an entire world of life.